Hello guys, welcome to another video by VillageGuy with a computer. Today we are going to talk about JavaScript and Node.js. We will start by downloading some requirements, setting up our development environment, and finally writing our first code in JavaScript. So before we can start programming in JavaScript, we need to download and set up a few things to make the process a little bit easier for ourselves. We need an IDE. This is where we'll be writing most of our code. I use VS Code, but you can use whichever you're comfortable with. We also need an interpreter which will translate the English-like JavaScript code that we write, and it will take that and translate it into machine code that the computer can understand. We also need a terminal program to execute commands to the computer. Alright guys, now that we're done with all the technical jargon, we want to install VS Code. Search for VS Code on Google. It should be one of the first results that show up. Now head over to their downloads page and download the appropriate installer for your operating system. Once the computer is done downloading the installer, open it, follow the instructions, and you should have VS Code ready to go. Alright guys, now that we've downloaded VS Code and we have somewhere to write our JavaScript, we need to create a new project. A project is basically just a folder. You can rename this to anything. I'll name mine to project 1. But in this folder you keep a collection of files, and these files are what make up your program or your app or your website or whatever it is that you're building. Once that is done, open the empty folder in VS Code and we can start adding some files and writing some code. JavaScript files are saved with a .js extension. That's how the computer knows that this is a JavaScript file. There are also other extensions like .py for Python, .cc for C++, and a whole lot of other ones, but right now we're just gonna concentrate on .js. Now remember when I told you that we need a program that takes the JavaScript that we write and converts it into machine code that the computer can understand. This program is called Node.js. Downloading Node.js is just as simple as downloading VS Code. So you basically go to Google, search for Node.js, and it will be one of the first that pop up. From there, go to their downloads page, download whichever installer is appropriate for your operating system, follow the instructions, and you should have Node.js installed. Right, now that you've downloaded and installed Node, you can open up a terminal and type in node-v. These numbers are your Node version number. This is the version of Node that is installed on your computer. One of my favorite features in VS Code is the integrated terminal. So if you go to the top, you click on terminal and you click new terminal, you get this terminal window open, and you no longer have to switch windows. You can directly run node-v in here and it will still show you the version number. You can also run other commands in here and they'll still work. Okay guys, so we have everything set up now. We have an IDE, we have Node set up. Let's write a quick hello world and see how all this works. So to do hello world in JavaScript, you just write console.log and then what you want to log, which in our case is hello world. Alright, so we want to test our hello world or at least our application and see that it works. So how do we run our application? Remember when I told you that Node takes whatever we've written and converts it into something the computer can understand? So we have to take this file and feed it into Node or give it to Node, and then Node will convert it into a language that the computer can understand, and then the computer can do an action. So we say node and then we say test.js, which is our file up here, and let's see what happens when the computer says hello world. We can add some more console.logs. I wanted to say bye, but you know, BTE is also acceptable. If we run this again, let's see what happens. So it says hello world and then it says BTE. So hello world BTE. So this is the first thing that you need to learn in programming, or whenever you're learning a new programming languages. And what you'll also realize is that the computer will run all your actions top to bottom. So it will start here and then it will run this, then it will come here, then it will run this. You can think of this as kind of a recipe. So it will run everything from the top and then it will go down, 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 down. Alright guys, I think that's enough for today. It's just a setup and a quick hello world, and in the next videos we'll do some more complicated stuff and start building on our knowledge for this. Right now I just wanted to make sure that you know how to set it up, you know how to put things together, and you can at least run some basic JavaScript code. That's it from this video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you'll hear from me in the next one.